let me go into our today's topic, which is very important topic, that is stacks, right? So the agenda of this particular today's discussion is we'll go through the introduction part of stacks, that is we'll give the definition of stack, and later we'll discuss various operations on stack. Then I'll discuss one example on stacks. This particular example is very important. Why I'm saying this is that you may get questions of this particular pattern, right? You won't be asked what is a push operation or what is a pop operation in gate examination. You have to apply the concepts, so you should know the basics of these concepts very well, then only you can apply those concepts. So I emphasize the students to concentrate on this particular example, which is very easy if you know how to do push and pop operations, right? And after that, I'll move through the algorithm analysis, where I'm not going to derive how the algorithm, how to analyze these operations and how to make the time complexities, how to derive the time complexities of various operations. My part is I just give the what is the time complexity of a particular operation and what is the time complexity of a pop operation. Like that, I will just display it and I will tell it. The reason why is this is out of scope of the syllabus of data structures, and you can get the complete algorithm analysis like asymptotic notations and big O notation, theta notation, omega notation. Everything will be discussed in the subject called design and analysis of algorithms. As I promised that I keep myself, I confine myself to the definition of the syllabus of the data structures only. I won't go beyond the data structures discussion, right? And the last part which I am going to discuss under stacks concept is the applications. This particular topic is very important. You can draw any number of stars here, right? That is the importance. Why? Because again, you may get lot of questions related to these applications only. That too, that application 2 and application 3, these are very important. You did it while observing the previous gate examinations, you didn't get any a single question from nested parenthesis check, but it is one of the application of nested stacks. That's the reason why I want to discuss it in depth. It is in the syllabus, right? That's the reason why I'm going to discuss this particular with a good example. And this particular application 2 of converting one expression into another expression is a very important topic. We'll do lot of examples. So we'll go with the conventional method of converting the infix to postfix expression by using the stack data structure, and later I will give some examples where you can directly derive the where you can directly convert the infix to postfix expression without use of stacks, right? You may treat it as a shortcut method. Okay. So I am going to discuss the shortcut method for this conversion of infix to postfix expression. And the last application is very important. You got some questions from the previous gate examinations. Very simple application, and once you know the algorithm, even algorithm also consists of just 3 steps, right? And if you know this particular concept, how to evaluate this postfix expression, you can answer those questions with very confident and with very ease, right? So there is no shortcut for this postfix expression evaluation, so you have to do it in the conventional method only. So this is the agenda of today's topic, right? Let me go into the definition of stack. We have already discussed the definition of stack while giving the examples to linear data structures, right? Stacks are a straightforward and simple data structures, and it comes under the category of linear data structure. We have already discussed what a linear data structure is. A linear data structure is nothing but the organization of data elements will be in the sequential fashion. So the stacks comes under the category of linear data structure, and the definition goes like this: the insertions and deletions are taking place at only one end, which we are calling it as top of the stack. We'll discuss with an example, with a clear example. We'll discuss all these things. But you remember that whenever you got somebody asks you about the definition of the stack, then you can simply say that it is a linear data structure where insertions and deletions can take place at only one end, which we call it as the top of the stack. And this is also important according to the concept point of view. That is, it is also called as LIFO data structure, which is called as last in first out data structure. That is, the last inserted element will be the first outputted element. This also will look with an example. And the other name for this stack is, we can also say it as a FILO, first in last out. But it is a convention that we always represent stack with this particular nomenclature only, LIFO. When somebody says that it is a stack, we simply say that it is nothing but a LIFO. Okay. So after having a good idea on the definition of a stack, let me describe how these stacks are implemented. There are only two ways where we can implement the stacks. The first method is the arrays. We can implement the stack data structure using arrays, and the second method is we can implement it by using linked lists, right? But right now I'm not going to discuss this linked list concept. Why? Because that particular concept will be discussed in the later classes, and let me confine myself to the implementation of stacks using arrays. Why? Because this arrays concept has already been discussed in the C programming class. You know how to declare an array and what are the indices of an array. All these things you are very well aware. So that's the reason why I am taking this particular implementation of stack using arrays, right? As a first point, you know how to declare an integer array. It's very simple. You will make use of a data type called int, and you make use of a array name called s, and within this square brackets you have to specify the size, right? Let me give like this: size. This is the declaration. And what is this size? This size can be a constant, or it can be a pre-processed directive also, like this: hash define size 5. This is the preprocessor directive, which says that this size is a constant which has a value of 5. So whenever this size is encountered, that is replaced by this 5 in value, right? So this is equivalent to int s of 5. Whenever the compiler comes across this declaration statement of the array, then it will allocate the memory. So it will allocate contiguous memory locations, right? How much memory will be allocated is given by the formula. It is able to store 5 different elements, and each integer occupies 4 bytes. Therefore, this is equal to 20 bytes. The 20 bytes of memory will be allocated by the compiler after this declaration statement. And let me take this example. So 5 elements. You know that the indexing always starts with 0 and ends with n-1. Here it starts with 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. This 4 is nothing but size minus 1. So this all these points you are very well aware, right? So this is how we implement a stack using array. In general, we have a habit of representing the arrays in a horizontal fashion like this. But when you represent a stack, it is better, it is just for our understanding purpose only. It is better that you make this array in a vertical fashion, right? Remaining things stays as it is, that is 0th index, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Right. So we are clear about the declaration of array and how the memory will be allocated for an array and how much memory will be allocated and how the indexing takes place in the array. We are clear about this concept. And Now let me move to another important point, that is top pointer. This is nothing but a simple variable which keeps track of the top element of the stack. So how to declare it? It is just int top, and remember that the top is always assigned to a value of -1. This is the initialization of top. Therefore, in memory, top will be allocated 4 bytes of memory, and it is assigned to initial value of -1, right? So top is pointing here. Top is equal to -1. Now let me take the insertion operation. The insertion operation in stacks. So for insertion operation, or for inserting an element in the stack, it consists of two sub-steps. The first step is you have to increment the top pointer. The first step is you have to increment the top pointer such that the top pointer points to a empty location. For example, initially the top is having a value of -1. If you increment the top pointer, then it has the value of 0. Therefore, the top is pointing to this location, right? So this is an empty location where you can insert an element, and this location, empty location, can be accessed by using a statement like this: S of top. What is the value of top right now? It is 0. Therefore, S of top means it is nothing but S of 0, and you assign the value or element. In this example, let me take the element in the present scenario as 10. Therefore, S of 0 is equal to 10. After completing the execution of this instruction, the compiler will allocate value of 10 to this empty location. Therefore, the value 10 is assigned here. So the insertion operation always consists of two substeps, that is increment top such that the top will always point to an empty location, and then you assign the element to that particular S of top. Similarly, let me take one more example. Let element be 20. So I want to insert 20 into the stack. What I have to do? I have to execute this one, top plus plus. Therefore, now the value of top is 0. After incrementing, it becomes 1. And the second step is S of top is equal to element. That is, S of the top value is 1. Therefore, S of 1 is equal to element means 20. Right? Therefore, after the first step, the top is pointing here, and after the second step, 20 is assigned here. Like that, you can insert any number of elements. Any number of elements means you can insert a maximum of 5 elements only. Why? Because you have defined the size, the maximum size of the array as 5 only. Therefore, you can store only 5 elements. That is the disadvantage of implementing stacks using arrays. Okay. So now coming to the next example, right? ELE is equal to 30. I want to insert 30. Again, execute this one, top plus plus. Instead of 1, it becomes 2. Therefore, top is pointing to this location, that is empty location. And the second step is S of top is equal to element. Now it becomes S of 2 is equal to 30. Therefore, 30 is inserted. Like that, assume that 40 is inserted here and 50 is also inserted here. Now, after this 50, my top is pointing to this location, right? My top is pointing to this location. Let me erase these things. So my top value is right now it is having a value of 4, right? My top is having a value of 4. Now, assume that the user tries to enter one more element into the stack, but since it is an array implementation, you can add only the limited number of elements, that is 5 elements can be added, and if you want to insert one more element, that arises an error. That error condition is named after one particular name that we'll discuss when you go into the actual push and pop operations. So whenever you want to insert an element into a full stack, then it gives an error. And similarly, this completes the discussion on insertion operation. And the next operation that I am going to discuss is deletion operation. How you are going to delete an element from the stack, right? For this purpose, what you have to do is, there exists a simple, straightforward, single step process for deleting an element, that is nothing but decrement top, which is nothing but top minus minus. So whenever you want to delete an element, you just execute one statement, which is top minus minus. For example, I want to delete the stack. There is no need to specify the element. Why? Because the definition of stack says that the insertion and deletions always takes place from the stack, top of the stack. Therefore, the deletion will always happen at the topmost element only. So if you just delete the element, the top is right now pointing to fourth location of the stack, that is, it is having a value of 50, right? If you decrement this top, what happens? If you decrement this top, the value becomes 3. Top minus minus means 4 minus minus, that is 3. Therefore, the top is pointing at this position right now. And similarly, you make another deletion operation. A simple operation, top minus minus, therefore top is pointing to 2 and it is pointing to this location. Now you can observe here that the deletion of stack is a logical deletion only. We are not physically deleting the elements, right? You can observe here that you are just decrementing the top pointer, but the original values of the stack 50 and 40 are still staying inside the array itself. So this is the logical implementation of top, or this is just a logical deletion, right? For example, assume that you have deleted this 30 also, 40, 20 and 10. Now the top value will be minus 1, right? After top is pointing to this location, if you make top minus minus, it will be minus 1. So this is how you make a insertion and deletion operation on stacks. You can perform these operations. This is a good example that I have given, a simple example. Let me take one more example, right? So this is the original stack we are having. This is the stack I am having. It consists of 3 elements, A, B and C. Here you can observe that A is lying at the last position. Therefore, by looking at the stack, you can understand that A is the first element that is inserted, and B is the next element that is inserted after B and after A, and C is the next inserted element after B. Therefore, my top pointer is pointing to this location, right? It's nothing but assume that this is 0th index, first index and second index. Top is having a value of 2. Now let me make one deletion operation. If I want to delete, as I said that the top element will be deleted. There is no other option, right? So what is the top element present here? It is C. Therefore that will be removed automatically and top is automatically pointed to B. Okay. So these are the 2 elements of the top stack, A and B, after making a first deletion operation. And if you want to add an element right now, what you have to do? Right now my top is pointing to this location. You have to increment the top pointer such that top will point to this location, that is second index, and increment and then assign the value S of top is equal to sum D, right? This is what happens, right? we add one more item to E. Right now my top is pointing to this location D. Therefore, if you insert an element, the top is incremented, it is pointing to the empty location, that is third index, and S of top is equal to sum E. This is how the insertion and deletion operations take place in a stack, right? So this is a simple example, and let me go to the next slide. So this is the discussion on operations on stack. We have various operations that are supported for the stack, out of which we treat only two operations as the basic operations of stack, and the remaining operations like size, is empty, top, all these things we make it as the supplementary functions, right? So these push and pop are called as main functions or basic functions, and the size, empty or top, all these things, all these functions, we call it as supplementary or assistance functions or secondary functions, not an issue, right? So we don't give much importance to this size, empty and top, but these two operations, the basic operations push and pop, are very important, where you will get some of the questions. You need to know how you have to perform the push operation and how you have to perform the pop operation, right? So let me tell what is a push operation. A push operation is nothing but adding an element at the top of the stack. It is nothing but insertion. The other name for the insertion of an element into the stack is push operation, right? And what is pop? To remove an element from the stack is called as pop. The other name for deletion, we call it as pop, right? Why we have given the different names means why, because it's a different data structure and they are giving different names for different data structures, or the operations of the data structures are given different names to identify that data structure uniquely, right? So from now onwards, you should not say the wording like inserting an element into the top of the stack. You have to simply say that push onto the stack or push, right? And you should not say deleting an element from the top of the stack. You have to simply say pop. So the two operations for insertion and deletion of elements from the top of the stack are called as push and pop respectively. Therefore, this push is nothing but insertion, and this pop is nothing but deletion. But remember that you cannot call these particular names, insertion and deletion. This is not in the terminology of stacks. You have to call it as push and pop only. And these supplementary functions or operations like size, it returns the number of items in a stack. Empty, it checks whether the stack is empty. If the stack is empty, it returns a value of true, and if the stack is not empty, it returns a value of false, right? And the last function, supplementary function, is top, which returns the top element of the stack, right? So let me have some in-depth discussion on this push and pop. So as you discussed, that push operation is nothing but adding an element at the top position of the stack, and this is very important. This is where I have given a pause over the discussion there. So if the stack is full, for example, assume my stack is having a size of only 3 elements, 0, 1, 2, right? And the elements are A, B and C. My top is pointing to here, which is nothing but top is equal to size minus 1. If this condition is true, top is equal to size minus 1. If this condition is true, you can say that the stack is full. And if the user tries to insert an element after the stack full, then that condition is called as stack overflow condition. Is a general terminology in English also. Whenever the tank is full and the water is flowing over, we can say that it is tank overflow. Similarly, if the stack is full and if you want to insert more elements into the stack, then we call it as the stack overflow condition. And whenever there is a stack overflow condition, you just display the message saying that the stack is full. This is how we handle the errors, right, in stacks. Similarly, coming to the pop operation. Pop operation is nothing but the deletion operation, as we have discussed, and it removes the item from the top of the stack, right? And remember, this is important. The items are removed or popped in the reversed order in which they are pushed. For example, again take the same array or same stack which consists of 3 elements, and initially the A is inserted. So what is the first element that is inserted? The first element that is inserted is A, right? And assume that B is inserted after A. Therefore, A is the second element that is inserted. B is the second element that is inserted. Now assume that C is inserted into the stack. So the last element that is inserted is C, right? Here the top is pointing to C. Now if you want to make a pop operation, the top element will be removed. What is the top element? Which is nothing but the C, right? And you can observe that the C is the last element that is inserted. Therefore, we call this as LIFO. What is the first element that is outputted? That is C, which is the last inserted element. Therefore, this particular data structure is called as LIFO, right? I think you are clear about this, why this data structure is called as LIFO data structure. And there is one more important point regarding this pop operation. That is, if the stack is empty, assume that C is deleted, B is deleted, and then A is also deleted. Now my top is pointing to which value? That is nothing but -1. In such situation, when you call a pop operation, that means when the stack is empty and you are calling a pop operation, since there are no elements in the stack and you are trying to make a pop operation, then it raises an error, or it leads to a particular condition which we call it as stack underflow. The terminology is important, right? For example, in questions you may be asked that there is a condition called stack overflow or there is a condition called stack underflow. In such situations, you should know what a stack overflow is. You should know what stack underflow is. So it's very important that you get accustomed to the terminology of this particular data structures. If you go to the queue data structure, there are some other terminology. That's a different case. So whenever you are learning a particular subject, you should be very careful in learning the terminology also, right? So we have two conditions, that is stack overflow and stack underflow. Stack overflow condition is where the user tries to insert an element from into a full stack. That condition is called as stack overflow. And stack underflow means if the user tries to delete an element, or instead of delete you can say pop, you have to say, right? If the user tries to delete a pop from the empty stack, then that condition is called as stack underflow condition, right? So we are clear about push and pop operations, and I told that I will be giving an example on stack operations, and this particular example is very, very important. You may be getting questions of this pattern only. While dealing the second phase of this lectures, or the third phase of lectures, like get previous examination questions and practice questions, you will come across this type of patterns very frequently, and please concentrate on this example, right? So here in the first, this is the first instruction. Assume a simple stack. Assume a simple stack, yes. Assume that the size of the stack is 5, 0. If the size of the stack is 5, then you have the elements indexed from 0 to 4, right? And again you take one more pointer which is top and initialize it to -1, right? So in the first instruction, stack s is equal to new stack. This is how we have created the stack. Forget about the language which he is using to declare a stack. Okay, so we have to concentrate more on the application part only, not that what is the language or programming language, whether he is using C++ or Java or C. That is immaterial for us. What we have to do is we have to concentrate on evaluating these particular things, right? So after this, that means we have created a stack of size some 5 elements, and the top is having a value of -1. The second instruction that is that is given is s dot push of 12. Here you can observe that for push operation you are giving an element. That means the push operation it must have one argument. Arguments are nothing but inputs to the functions, right? So it should accept one argument. It is mandatory. Why? Because you have to say which element you are pushing, whether you are pushing 10 or whether you are pushing 12 or whether you are pushing A, B, something like that. So this is important. So s dot push of 12, that means it is saying that you have to push an element 12. As I told that insertion operation, or you can say that push operation consists of two things, that is top plus plus, and second one is s of top is equal to element. What is the element now? Right now it is 12. Therefore top plus plus means top is pointing here. It becomes 0, and since top is pointing here, s of 0 is equal to 12. Therefore it becomes 12. After executing the second instruction, the third instruction is s dot push of 4. So it is saying that you push 4. Execute these two steps, top plus plus. Therefore top is pointing to first location and the element that is inserted is 4, right? And the fourth instruction is s dot push of s dot top plus 2. You can observe that it is a nested functioning concept, right? So this function, before calling this function, you have to execute this expression. Therefore what is s dot top? Is nothing but it returns the top element. What is the top element? The top is pointing to location 1 and it is having a value of 4. Therefore s dot top is nothing but 4. Now this expression or this instruction is equivalent to s dot push of 4 plus 2. That is equivalent to s dot push of 6. So this is a simple expression, right? So increment top, so top is pointing here and 6 is push. Now coming to the fifth instruction, these instructions has to be executed in a sequential fashion, right? Why? Because the C, C++, all these things, all these programming language, they follow the sequential order. That's the reason why you should not change the order. If you change the order, you will get a wrong answer, right? So one by one you have to execute. After executing statement 1, you have to execute statement 2. After executing statement 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that you have to follow. You should not change the order. If you change the order, you will get a wrong answer. So please be attentive. And the fifth instruction says that s dot pop. So in s dot pop, what you will do, you simply decrement the top pointer. Therefore my top is pointing here. You should not consider this. Even though it is a logical deletion, you should assume that you have deleted that particular element, right? So in stack we have only two elements, that is 12 and 4. So he is asking us a question. What is the question? What are the contents of stack, right? You have to check for options whether it is 4, 12 or something else, right? Even 4, 12 or 12, 4 is also correct, but at max he won't give these contradictory answers. So if the contradictory answers are given, what is the first element that is to be popped? That is 4, and the next element that is to be popped is 12. Therefore this will be the correct answer. So this is how the questions will be asked on the stack concepts. This is very important concept. I think I am clear about these concepts. Let me move to the next point. So this is the algorithm analysis, right? So for pushing an element onto the stack or for push operation of a stack, the algorithm complexity is big O of 1, right? For pushing one element. For pushing n elements, it will be something like big O of n, right? For pop, it is big O of 1, and for is empty, it is big O of 1, and for is full, it is big O of